Hello and welcome everybody to Talking Golf Tuesday. Today we're talking about offset. Some misconceptions about offset I want to address. For starters, offset, the big reason for offset is increased MOI. Well, what does that mean? All right, well, moment of inertia, the easiest way to describe it is it resists rotation of the club, okay? So if you apply a certain force to this club, it's gonna rotate. Now imagine there's a huge weight out here, okay? When you apply the same amount of force to that club head, it's going to resist that rotation because the weight's all back here. It's the same thing with offset. That's all they're doing. That's it. They're taking the weight and they're moving it back a little bit, giving you that extra little resistance to twist. Now, misconceptions that I hear all the time. I see this in my videos. People are like, is the reason why you're drawing that club because there's so much offset on it? Watch my videos. Every blade, it's my path, my club path from in to out, as they say, towards my body away, which is putting a spin axis on the ball, which is causing it to move off to the left. Okay, I do that with blades with no offset, to a lot of offset. It comes down to my swing. So when you line up at the ball, I'm going to line this offset club up the same as I would a blade. Does that make sense? McGregor, the 985 blade right here, versus the King Cobra 3400i XH with some significant offset. At address, they're gonna be the same distance from the ball, which means my backswing will be the same, my swing will be the same, the impact should, in theory, if the swing's the same, would be the same. Follow through would be the same, okay? So offset gets me nothing. And people say, oh, well, it helps me catch up to close my face. Okay, here's a reason why I have a problem with that. It doesn't. Because at address, it's in the same position, and with a high MOI, it's resisting any sort of rotation. That means you're gonna have to apply more twist force, let's call it that. You're gonna have to apply more force to get that to twist shut, to get it to close at impact. Huh? Interesting. If you apply the right wrist angles, then the club face will just stay closed the whole time, and you can, pull, hook one, double cross it to the left every time. If your face is that closed and you're moving into out and you're not letting it rotate at all in your backswing, okay? So to me, lots of this stuff doesn't make sense. And I've heard good players say, oh, I hate offset clubs because I always hit them fat. It's because they're offset that I'm hitting them fat, because the club head is so far behind of where my swing is. Okay, I also disagree with that. Maybe the Ping Zing you tried has a slightly higher swing weight than your Ben Hogan. So maybe you're just not compensating for that extra weight out there. Is that to do with the offset, or is that to do with the swing weight of the club? There's lots of variables involved here, and how are you reacting to the shaft, the offset, what you're seeing and what you're feeling, all right? So there's lots of variables here. Ultimately, it comes down to what is your club head doing and where is your club head attacking, they call it D-plane, when you hit the ball. That's it. Offset isn't causing me to draw the ball, okay? And they're not unworkable. Oh, you can't fade an offset club. Yeah, I do it all the time, all right? So in the future, I'm reviewing a club with offset this Friday. Think about an offset iron. When you think of an offset iron, what do you think of? Well, we'll find out what we're gonna review on Friday. So offset clubs, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't mind them. I don't like the looks of them. And that's frankly what it comes down to. They're big, they're bulky, they just don't look happy to me. They don't bring me lots of joy and happiness. But when I was starting out golf, they did. I was like, oh, it's a relief. You're like, oh, this club's on my side. It's helping me out. And I loved it. But times change, and after you hit enough clubs, it's just like, I don't want to look at this. I'd rather look at this than this. And it comes down to looks. And the big thing for me as well is feel. So when you mishit a blade with no offset, you feel it. But you hit a blade with offset, like a Wilson gooseneck, for example, it doesn't twist quite as much or hurt quite as much on the mishits. And same with these larger offset clubs. It's like you hit them a little off, you hit them thin, on the toe. It's not going to twist in your hands and hurt your hands like, ow. So that's a huge pro for the offset clubs, is with that increased MOI, less pain. So that's ultimately what it comes down to. Resist rotation, less pain. Is that a good thing? For lots of people, yes. For me, in certain situations, yes. But, ultimately it comes down to what I like and what you like, and that's what matters most. So I'm excited to read your comments about MOI. I'm just scratching the surface here. There's some physics involved and other interesting things. But yeah, in my mind, myths that I hear in my experience that are just not true. Now, we need to talk about fantasy golf, as there was no tournament this last weekend. And so there is going to be, I want to say, I'm going to be so wrong, but I want to say there's a tournament this week in Hawaii or Mexico or something. I don't remember exactly where, but either way, a reminder to set your lineup for fantasy golf. I'll put probably the season leaderboard up right here for the Vintage Golf League, which everybody's welcome to join. It's free, just PGA Fantasy Golf. Create an account, join us. It's a lot of fun. And this week, set your lineup. It's a reminder. I think it starts Thursday. So Wednesday is your last chance. So get that done. And that's where we're going to end off today. Thank you so much for my patrons. I really appreciate your support. If you would like to support us on Patreon, it's just general support. I post a few behind the scenes pictures, videos, updates, stuff like that on Patreon. And you can also support this channel by visiting my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe. I am The Vintage Golfer.